Stop everything you're doing at this very moment. If this video appeared on your screen today, if something within you made you click and stay until now, I need to tell you with all the authority of this message, this was not the algorithm, it was not luck, it was not chance. It was a direct calling. Archangel Michael is warning at this very instant that something very serious is about to happen within your home, and you need to be alert before it is too late. Perhaps you have been feeling it for weeks, perhaps for months, a strange sensation when you walk through the door of your home, a weight in your chest that has no explanation, a fatigue that sleep does not cure, a restlessness that appears mainly at night when the home falls silent. You look at your children, at the person sleeping beside you, at the rooms you know by heart, and something inside you whispers, there is something wrong happening here. And you try to ignore it, to rationalize it, you try to sleep, but that inner voice does not stop. I need to tell you with all the depth of this revelation, you are not going crazy. You are being warned. And what I am going to teach you now can literally change your family's destiny, because it involves a knowledge that the ancient masters called the law of assumption, the silent power of I am, and the absolute truth about how the feeling you cultivate within the four walls of your home molds exactly what manifests in it. You have spent your whole life asking for protection, praying for better days, begging for changes, lighting candles, saying prayers, making promises, fasting, and yet, deep down, you feel that your home's door continues to be crossed by something that does not belong there. Why? Because you forgot the main secret, the one that Archangel Michael himself came to remind you of before it becomes too late. You do not attract what you ask for, you attract what you feel you already are. And if within your home, the dominant feeling today is fear, scarcity, silent fighting, chronic fatigue, the impression that no one sees each other anymore, that is exactly what is being formed day after day in the fourth dimension, that invisible plane where everything that manifests in the material world is first born as a feeling, as a state of consciousness, as a vibration of the heart. Modern science has already proven something that mystics have known for centuries. Your heart emits a measurable electromagnetic field, much stronger than that of your brain, and this field extends for meters around your body. It passes through walls. It touches whoever sleeps with you. It penetrates your child's room while they rest. And this field carries the exact frequency of what you are feeling in the depths of your soul. If you sleep with anguish, your home sleeps with anguish. If you wake up with fear, your home wakes up with fear. If your inner talking is a whirlwind of it won't work out, something bad is going to happen. I'm tired of everything. Your entire home becomes an antenna for this scenario to materialize. And Archangel Michael, guardian of homes, is warning you. What is forming in your home right now can still be interrupted, but only if you understand what he has come to deliver to you. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, titled, How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day. And I will tell you in a moment why it fell into your hands precisely this week when you are feeling this pressure. But first, pay attention, because the next spiritual mistake I am going to reveal is precisely the one that is cancelling all your prayers within your home, and almost no one notices. There is a pattern that repeats in almost every household in the United States that is going through what you are going through, and it has to do with something that Neville Goddard called the bridge of incidents. You are asking for a reality, but at the same time you are crossing in thought, in word, and in feeling, the bridge exactly to the opposite reality. You say you want peace, but your inner talking spends the whole day in imaginary arguments. You say you want prosperity, but your imagination revisits bills, debts, overdue accounts, and mentally rehearses the humiliation of not being able to pay. You say you want a harmonious marriage, but your dominant thought reconstructs old offenses, feeds the resentment, rehearses the next argument before it even exists, and your subconscious, which does not distinguish real from imagined, keeps building, brick by brick, exactly what you do not want. Joseph Murphy taught that the subconscious is like fertile soil. It does not choose the seed. It only makes everything that falls into it grow. And what falls into it within your home every day, the news on during dinner, the late-night conversations full of complaints, the worries about the paycheck on the 5th, the fears about the health of elderly parents, the resentments kept under lock and key, Each of these seeds is germinating within the invisible soil of your home, and Archangel Michael, by divine permission, is sounding the alert before the harvest arrives. But stop for a moment. Breathe deeply. Because now you need to understand something that will change everything. You are not being punished. You are being warned. And a warning, in spiritual language, is synonymous with opportunity. Archangel Michael is not the messenger of punishment. He is the messenger of the sword that cuts what needs to be cut in time. And if you are here, it is because there is still time. I know that perhaps you are thinking of someone specific right now. Maybe it is that child who changed their behavior suddenly. Maybe it is that spouse who seems present but is spiritually far away. Maybe it is that elderly mother who has been appearing in your dreams with a worried expression. Maybe it is you yourself feeling that you are losing something precious day after day without being able to name it. Keep that face in your mind, because everything that follows is literally to protect that person through you. And it is exactly at this point that I need to take an essential pause, because what I am about to share belongs only to those who are willing to receive. If you felt at any moment of these last few minutes a shiver run through your body, a lump in your throat, an inexplicable urge to cry, or that rare sensation of "this is exactly what I needed to hear today," then this is not common emotion. It is recognition. It is your soul confirming, without you needing to think, that you were led to this moment by something greater. There are millions of people in the United States at this very instant, and yet you are here, with this video, with these words, and no other. Think about that. Most people pass by messages like this without even slowing down. But you slowed down. You are feeling, you are listening. And that means there is a deeper spiritual layer acting in your story, a layer that many see from afar but few understand from within and from. Archangel Michael does not ring the bell for just anyone. When he rings it, it is because there is a family to be protected. There is a lineage to be preserved. There are children, grandchildren, parents, siblings, who still depend on your spiritual courage for something in the invisible to be undone before it descends to the visible. And it is precisely because this responsibility is so real that I could not leave you without tools. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, titled How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day. And the link for it is pinned in the description of this video and also in the first comment right at the top, so you do not get lost. This book is not just another generic material on faith. It was written for those who are living exactly what you are living now. The sensation that there is a calling, but there are no clear answers on how to act. I have already received emotional messages from people who read it in just one night and told me they felt the whole house change its atmosphere the next day, that they stopped arguing with their spouse without knowing why, that their child started talking again, that debts started to resolve themselves in ways no one could explain. And I warn you, this content and the access to this book can go off the air at any moment because there are forces that do not want messages like this to reach those who need it. If you feel deep down that you were called, do not delay. Click the link now, secure yours, and come back here to finish the message with me. And if your soul confirms what I am saying, write in the comments the word Amen. This Amen is a decree. It is a spiritual acceptance. It is you saying to the invisible, I heard, I accept, I will act. Now with your decision made, I can give you the next layer of the revelation, the part that few get to hear because they give up before. There is a principle in the law of assumption that says the following. Everything you assume as truth within your I am, the universe organizes to deliver to you as an experience. Repeat this with me internally. I am is the name of creation. When you say, I am tired, I am sick, I am lost, I am alone, I am a financial failure, you are literally signing spiritual contracts. It is not a figure of speech, it is law. Feeling is the secret, Neville said, and the feeling you sustain behind each I am is what gives strength for the manifestation to happen. Think of your home as a temple. Because it is, every home is a temple, whether you like it or not, and every temple has an altar. The altar of your home is not the crucifix on the wall, it is not the saint's image on the shelf, it is not the Bible on the nightstand. The altar of your home is your heart, and what is burned on that altar every day is your dominant feeling. If what is burned there is fear, your entire home becomes smoky with fear. If what is burned there is gratitude, faith, certainty, love, your entire home breathes that atmosphere. Archangel Michael came to warn you that the altar of your heart needs to be cleaned urgently, because what is being burned there is attracting what you fear. And here enters persistence, the pillar that separates those who manifest from those who only dream. Persistence is not insistence. Insistence is staying there repeating, "Please, please, give me," with your hand extended in a posture of lack. Persistence is different. Persistence is, after occupying the state of consciousness of the fulfilled desire, firmly refusing to go back to the old mental state. It is deciding, with the authority of the I Am, that it is already yours, and staying in that feeling even when the external world screams the opposite. It is looking at the overdue bill and still feeling prosperous. It is looking at your child's silence and still feeling connected. It is looking at your partner's coldness and still sustaining internally the image of a full home. Persistence is, in the end, being faithful to the invisible even when the visible has not yet confirmed it. And perhaps now you are thinking, but how do I do this in practice within my crazy routine with children, work, bills, anxiety? And that is exactly why there is nighttime reprogramming, one of the most powerful techniques that Archangel Michael authorizes for the homes he defends. There is a magical window every night between the state of wakefulness and deep sleep, a range of 4 to 7 minutes where your conscious mind is already relaxed, but your subconscious is totally open, totally receptive. It is the gateway to the fourth dimension. And what you feel, experience, and assume in those final minutes before falling asleep will descend with full force into the soil of your subconscious and germinate while you sleep. Do you want to save your home? Start tonight. When lying down, instead of mentally reviewing the day's problems, consciously choose a single scene. A short scene. A scene that represents the desire already fulfilled. Not the requested desire, not the expected desire. The desire already accomplished. It can be the scene of Sunday lunch with the whole family gathered and laughing. It can be the scene of you opening your bank app and seeing a balance that brings you peace. It can be the scene of your child hugging you, returning to talk to you light present. It can be the scene of your husband looking at you the same way he did at the beginning of the relationship. Choose a scene and step inside it. Feel the smell, hear the sounds, perceive its warmth, and fall asleep in that scene. Fall asleep in that state of consciousness. Fall asleep in that I Am. Do this for 7 consecutive nights and tell me afterward what changed. But I will tell you in advance. Archangel Michael works in the nights of those who work on themselves. No angel invades the home of those who do not open the door. But no angel also refuses entry to those who call with sincerity. There is one more point that I cannot leave you without delivering, because it is practically the heart of this message. You need to stop now, still today, something that is silently poisoning your home's atmosphere. And I know that by saying this here, I will touch on something painful, but it is precisely because it hurts that it needs to be said. The inner talking you sustain about the people in your home is sculpting, spiritually, their behavior in relation to you. Stop and read that sentence again. The inner talking you maintain in silence within your mind about your husband, about your wife, about your children, about your parents, is literally programming how they will behave toward you in the coming days and weeks. If you spend the day saying internally, "This man never listens to me," "This woman only knows how to complain," "This child is a challenge I can't handle," "My father will always be difficult," you are not describing reality, you are prescribing reality. You are, without realizing it, being the sorcerer or the sorceress of your own home. And when the result appears, you think it was confirmation, but it was creation. Neville Goddard taught something radical. Imagine a scene where the person you love treats you exactly as you would like to be treated. Feel it, live it, repeat internally words that they would say, and see, over the days, how a bridge of incidents begins that leads that person to naturally, without understanding why, start to behave exactly as in your scene. It is not magic, it is spiritual law. It is how the universe has operated for millennia, and you, without knowing, were already using this law only backward against yourself. Archangel Michael came to warn you exactly about this. There is something serious forming in your home because there is a destructive inner talking sustaining itself within your mind. Change the dialogue, and you change the destiny. Change the dominant feeling, and you change the harvest. Change the I am, and you change the entire home. And it is exactly for this reason that so many people who watched videos like this and read the material I'm going to indicate to you started to report something impressive. A lady here from the Midwest wrote to me saying that, after 3 nights practicing the scene of her son starting to approach her again, the young man, who had been distant for almost 2 years, knocked on her door on a Tuesday for no apparent reason, just wanting to have lunch with his mother. A gentleman from New England in his 60s, married for 33 years, told me that his wife, who had been cold and absent, started reaching for his hand on the sofa again, without planning, without warning, simply because he decided to change what he felt in relation to her in silence. A mother from the interior of the South, with 3 children, suffocated by debts, sustained for 21 days the feeling of already being a prosperous woman, and that month she received a job offer she had not even looked for. These reports are not miracles in the childish sense of the word. They are law. They are the law of assumption operating exactly as it has always operated, now in favor of those who understood the game. And it is into this game that Archangel Michael is inviting you to enter, still today before something is drawn in the invisible, and descends into your home in a way you did not desire. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, titled How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day, and it is waiting for you at the link pinned in the description of this video and also in the first comment, right at the top. This book breaks down step by step, with simple and deeply spiritual words, how you occupy the state of consciousness of the person who is already saved, is already protected, is already guarded by Archangel Michael himself, and how this state becomes a shield for your entire home. It answers, based on the oldest principles of faith and the law of assumption, the question that perhaps you are afraid to ask out loud: what if the judgment is already happening now, within my home, every day, in the form of choices, of words, of thoughts, and I didn't even notice? This book puts you on the right side of that scale. And I will be honest with you, this video, this link, this book can disappear at any moment. Contents that touch profound spiritual truth have a short life on the internet. There are forces that do not want messages like this to reach the masses, because an awakened home interrupts an entire chain of negative manifestations. So if your soul felt it, if there was a single sign of confirmation within you during these minutes, do not delay. Click the link now, secure yours, and come back here for the continuation, because what comes next is, for me, the most delicate and most powerful part of all. And if you are still here with me, then I know that something within you moved, I know. So answer in the comments with the word Amen. This Amen is your decree of acceptance. It is you assuming in the intimacy of I am that you heard the calling and that you will act. Now pay very close attention, because what I am going to tell you is the secret within the secret. Most people who try to change the reality of their own home fail because of one mistake only. They change the thought, but they do not change the feeling. And there the key enters. Feeling is the secret. It is not what you think, it is what you feel at the deepest level. You can keep repeating affirmations all day. My home is blessed, my home is blessed, my home is blessed. But if, beneath these words, the sustained feeling is of fear, of pressure, of lack, it is the feeling that wins, always. Because feeling is the language of the subconscious, and the subconscious is the engineer of the material world you inhabit. That is why Archangel Michael acts on the spiritual plane precisely at the level of feeling. He does not cut external enemies. He cuts internal ties. He cuts old feelings that are stuck in you like invisible chains. His sword is a sword of fire, and fire is the element that purifies what no longer serves. When he approaches a home, he first asks permission to touch the heart of whoever governs that home spiritually, and who governs, usually, is the person watching this video right now. It is you. Even if you haven't realized it until today, you are the spiritual balance point of your home. That is why the warning came to you and not to someone else. That is why the video appeared to you and not to your neighbor. And here comes another principle that very few teach, but which is decisive. There is a gigantic difference between desiring and assuming. Desiring is pointing to something. Assuming is becoming something. Desiring is saying, I want my home to be at peace. Assuming is saying, I am someone who lives in a home at peace. Do you feel the difference? Desiring keeps the goal distant. Assuming brings the goal into your state of consciousness. And it is within the state of consciousness that all manifestation happens. That is why the law is called the law of assumption, and not the law of desire. You do not need to want anymore, you need to assume. You need to step into the skin of the person who already has what they asked for. Do an exercise with me right now, and please take it seriously. Close your eyes for 3 seconds, only 3, and answer internally. How would you feel now if you were already living in the home that Archangel Michael came to protect for you? How would your body be? How would your breathing be? How would you look at the people in your home? That feeling that just arose, even if for a second, is the frequency. Memorize this frequency. Return to it several times a day. And mainly, before sleeping, anchor yourself in it, because it is this frequency, and not the words you repeat, that will sculpt your tomorrow. When you start to sustain this feeling, something happens. First, internally, you start to sleep deeper. The dreams become clearer. A calm that you did not know appears. Then, externally, the people in your home start to treat you differently, for no apparent reason. Arguments that happen daily simply disappear. Children start talking again. Spouses start seeing each other again. And the material resources, which seemed scarce, start to circulate in surprising ways, because the spiritual field of the house has been reformed, and the material always follows the spiritual, never the other way around. And it is at this point that Archangel Michael positions himself, with his sword raised, at the door of your home. He defends those who have already defended themselves from within. He protects those who have already assumed protection as a state of consciousness. He does not come to do the work that is up to you. He comes to confirm the work that you decided to do. And that is why this message arrived just now. Because there was something preparing to enter your home, and you were warned in time. You were chosen to receive this warning because deep down, you are the spiritual watchman of your family. Perhaps no one around has understood this yet, but the invisible knows, and now you know too. I need you to do something symbolic but deeply real before closing this video. Look at your hand, yes, your hand. That same hand that holds the phone now, that same hand that opened doors, that cooked, that held a child, that wrote messages, that paid bills. This hand is the instrument of your I am in the material world. And I want now for you to make a silent declaration just to yourself. Starting today, I assume that my home is guarded. Starting today, I assume the state of consciousness of protection. Starting today, I do not desire, I am. Do you feel how the body responds when you say this for real? This subtle shiver, this strange calm, this warming in the chest, is your own spirit confirming the decree. It is Archangel Michael resting the tip of his sword on the floor of your home. And now I need to ask you with all honesty, are you going to leave here the same? Are you going to return to the routine, to the autopilot, to the old thoughts, to the inner talking that brought you to this alert? Or are you going to take advantage of this rare moment in which the invisible opened a window directly to you, and are you going to take the next step? Because calling without action is just an echo, and an echo gets lost in time. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, titled How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day, and it has the link pinned in the description of this video and also at the top of the comments, waiting for you. This book is the practical complement to this message. It gives you, with clarity, the nighttime steps of reprogramming, the right prayers to seal your home, the scenes you need to mentally rehearse before sleeping, the mistakes of inner talking that most bring down families, and the definitive truth about what it means to be on the right side of judgment, which is not a distant date, but a decision of today. People who had homes in constant conflict wrote to me saying that in a few weeks after reading, they felt for the first time in years the sensation of home. Mothers thanked me, saying they returned to sleep without that tightness. Fathers reported that they recovered the spiritual authority of the house firmly and lovingly without fighting. And I warn you with all sincerity, the link can go off the air. This video can be removed. This alert has a time. And those who let it pass We'll have to wait for the next warning, which no one knows when it will come. Do not delay. Click the link now, receive the book, read it tonight, and tell me afterward what changed. And to seal this message as a spiritual decree, I ask only one thing. Write in the comments the word Amen. Just that word. But write it with your soul. Because at the exact instant you type Amen in a calling like this, you assume in the invisible the commitment to protect your home for the next few days. You sign on the spiritual plane the contract of those who accept the warning of Archangel Michael and decide to act. Today within your home, something may be starting to fall apart. Perhaps a relationship cooling down. Perhaps a health issue unbalancing. Perhaps a financial situation tightening. Perhaps a child drifting away. Perhaps a silence between you and someone loved deepening. And you were led here before these small gaps became large wounds. This is the gift of the alert. This is the gift of the calling. This is the gift of having heard in time. Your home is your temple. Your heart is the altar. Your feeling is the fire. Your I am is the key. Your persistence is the fortress. Your law of assumption is the sword. And Archangel Michael is the presence that confirms, in the invisible, everything you assumed as true in the intimacy. You are not alone, you never were, but it is time to do your part. Subscribe now to this channel as a decree of acceptance of the new reality. Leave your like as a spiritual seal on this message, write Amen in the comments, and click the link in the description and at the top of the comments to receive the book, How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day While It Is Still Available. Start, still tonight, to occupy the state of consciousness of the protected home, of the restored home, of the rebuilt family. And observe in the next 7 days how the invisible starts to reorganize itself around your new I am. Because you were warned, because you were chosen to hear, and because, from now on, your home has an awakened watchman, and that watchman is you. So be it. Amen.